This monkey thought he could control time with a single red button, but he was about to learn that the calendar does not like to be rushed. Deep in a jungle, where vines curl like question marks and the leaves tick softly like tiny clocks, there is a building that holds the secret to the seasons. This is the Department of Months. It is a crooked wooden office leaning against an ancient banyan tree with a hand-painted sign that warns visitors not to feed the staff. Inside this office, the morning begins with a level of precision that would make a Swiss watchmaker jealous. Valley the business monkey is the man in charge. He stands atop his desk like a general preparing for a great battle. His white shirt is crisp, and his green tie is perfectly centered. Valley believes that order is the only thing keeping the world from falling into total chaos. Every wrinkle in his clothes is ironed. Every pencil on his desk is sharpened to a perfect point. He even has a spreadsheet to account for every single banana in the break room. Valley checked his pocket watch as it ticked with the solemn weight of responsibility. It was time for the transition. He cleared his throat, straightened his tie, and slammed his palm onto the giant red button labeled New Month. The button sank with a heavy thunk that echoed through the trees. Suddenly, the jungle shivered. Clouds began to rearrange themselves in the sky like pieces of a puzzle. Somewhere outside, a confused version of February fell out of a tree while holding a map upside down. Valley nodded with satisfaction, thinking he had done a perfect job. But the peace did not last long. The office door exploded open so violently it knocked a calendar right off the wall. Lois the logician stormed into the room with her clipboard raised like a weapon. Lois is the brain of the operation, and her glasses flash with righteous fury whenever a rule is broken. She looked at Valley and told him he had made a massive mistake. He had pressed the button without filing Month Transition Form 12B. To Lois, procedures exist for a reason. She warned him that by skipping the protocol, he had risked a temporal misalignment. Before Valley could even try to defend his actions, a rolling chair zoomed into the room. It was spinning wildly with Lucas the loose cannon sitting on top. Lucas is the embodiment of chaos, wearing a hoodie with the strings flapping and a grin wide enough to cause structural damage to the building. He told Lois to relax and asked what the worst thing that could happen could be. Then, he immediately crashed into a massive stack of banana-shaped invoices. The papers flew through the air like startled yellow birds, covering the floor in a mess of bureaucracy. Lois pinched the bridge of her nose in frustration, while Valley groaned. Outside the window, the world was starting to look wrong. Valley hopped off his desk and dusted off his tie, explaining that the button must be pressed at exactly 9 in the morning, or the months get cranky. Lois flipped through her clipboard, her pages snapping like disciplined soldiers. She explained that without the proper forms, the entire timeline was at risk. Lucas popped up from behind the fallen invoices and said that a temporal misalignment sounded like fun. Lois snapped back that it was not fun at all. Valley echoed her, pointing at Lucas with the authority of someone who had once seen April and August try to switch places. Suddenly, a distant rumble shook the entire building. The vines outside began to tremble, and a coconut clock on the wall started spinning backward, then forward, and then sideways. Lois looked up slowly and asked Valley what he had actually done. Valley gulped and admitted that he might have pressed the button a little too hard in his rush to be on time. Lucas just beamed and said that it was a nice move. But the floor continued to vibrate. A calendar page peeled itself off the wall and hovered in the air before fluttering dramatically to the ground. Lois tightened her grip on her clipboard and told the team they had to stabilize the month before the entire jungle went out of order. Lucas raised a banana like it was a walkie-talkie and declared that Operation Fix the Month was officially a go. Lois told him it was not called that, but Lucas did not care. Valley sighed and straightened his tie one more time. He gestured toward the door and told his team that the months were not going to fix themselves. And so, the three monkeys set off. You had logic, chaos, and duty, all marching together, into the trembling jungle. They were ready to face whatever temporal nonsense was waiting for them in the trees. Because in the Department of Months, there is only one thing that is always certain: nothing ever goes according to the schedule. This was only the beginning of their mission to save time itself.